welcome back to Stasis, Geek. The Mandalorian Season 3 finale is done. And this will have spoilers, so if you've not watched it, move along. Now, this one's a tough one, because is it epic? No. Is it bad? No. Is it middle of the road? Yes. Did fan theories come out and people on Twitter, either side of the spectrum, better than this? Yes. Was this lazy? Yes. Was it bad? Again, no. It's just, Now, the problem with this episode and the problem with this season is they put plot points in. They dumped things in. I don't know what to do. It's not to sell merch, and it's not to drive the story forward. But what it did do is open up these plot holes. Yeah? Because off the back of Celebration, we know we're going to get all this future Rey stuff. Yeah? Now, the problem is, everything now leads to sequels. Now, I'm going to stop right there, because it might not. Because if they do what a lot of fans want to do, is World Between Worlds, Ahsoka show, and retcon everything and change everything, then the plot holes go like that slightly. And what I mean is, because at the end of this, they get Mandalore back. Yep. And they all chant, they light the thief forges up. Yay! The problem with that is we've got the First Order being born. Yeah? So, as I said in my last video, the only way that can ever make sense is if the Mandalorians became isolationists. And then the First Order went, that really strong unit over there, we're going to ignore and let them become great. The great Mandalorian Empire. And have them as a threat. No, it wouldn't make sense. So, the only way that can happen is the First Order strike first. Yeah, whilst they're rebuilding, is they wipe them out. So, there's got to be, at one point, a show or a film that shows the genocide of the Mandalorians. Only way it can make sense, because in the sequels, there's not a single one we see, if I remember rightly. Yep. So it doesn't make sense that we're even possibly in this era. You know, why are we watching this being built? If they failed and they went on, I can understand that. You know, they all became, had to be bounty hunters. But they restore the planet, in a way. But then there's, in this, it's just so plot points of like, why? Now, this is literally lazy, because if you thought of the easiest thing to write, this is it. Because, okay, have a episode leading up to, okay, oh look, Moff Gideon escaped. Oh, Moff Gideon's back. Oh, kill Moff Gideon. Now, kill him? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say this is Moff Gideon 2.0. Because in this, we find out he's been cloning himself and trying to get the Force in himself, of his clones. Yeah? So I'm guessing there's multiple ones of him, of failures. You know, clone failure. Oh, let's have that as backup. So, if they wanted to do a season 4, they could bring him back, maybe in season 5. Don't know. But how this ended, I don't think this show's coming back. I think this is done and done, because it has a happy ending. In a way, is their happy ending is Din adopts Grogu, and then they go and get a little hut, and then he plays with some frogs, and then it happy ending. So their happy ending was I don't like, he adopted Grogu. I don't get that bit, because he wanted him to do the creed, but the armourer said he can't because he can't talk. And then he was like, well, if I adopt him, if the parents blah 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 whatever, yeah. And I was like, okay, don't know where this is leading to. And then you've got that bit of him wanting to not do bounty hunting to get money and resources, I guess, because he's got, you know, a son to look after, who uses the Force and is more powerful than him. He needs to go and work for the Republic, the New Republic, to get the remnants of the Empire out of the way. What, probably more dangerous to actually think of it. So, Din Giants, because he's not in the sequels. He doesn't come to help, you know, and he works for the Republic now. So, where do all these roads lead? And this is where the plot, because everybody you see is going to die. Because the First Order has not just, when we see them in The Force Awakens, not just go bing, do they? So they've got like 10 years, 20 years, you know, of building their army up, you know, their navy up. So it just doesn't make sense. So unfortunately, this is Disney trying to get to the sequels and not making sense of their own mistakes in the sequels to kind of, in a way, if not retcon them, because it doesn't look like that's what they're going to do, unless A World Between Worlds, is kind of get that glue bonded correctly. That's the only way to get that storytelling. And this is the problem. They've got people here who just want to insert fun, insert action, insert that moment that make you go, oh, Twitter world, I want to talk. But they forgot about the story. Now, there again, there's, even if you look previously, like the one's called The Spies. In that episode, The Spies, what was that about? Because everybody theorised, well, who's the spies? It was a plural. Absolutely didn't mean anything. Pointless. Yeah? So, in that episode, we had Mandalorians who have been on Mandalore after the Purge, and they've survived being under the subterranean and whatever. And we find out in this, they've been growing, you know, just below the surface in little caves. What gives them food. But they're not like there's two sections. They're not like where Moff Gideon is in the Northern Hemisphere and they're in the Southern Hemisphere. They're literally miles away from each other, it looks like. Yeah? Because they jetpack to these areas. Yeah? Or they use that ship, I'm guessing, previously. So it's not far, far away. But they didn't notice these ships coming in with building equipment to build this infrastructure for Moff Gideon, for his this cloning facility. And to get the Beskar out to start forging for his new suits. Nope, didn't see that. So, stupid plot hole. But it was there to give a, oh look, this can grow again. The planet's been recovering because man wasn't there. You know, the Mandalorians weren't there. So this is like without society there, the actual surface has started to recover. Okay, you going that way, global warming, I'm guessing. And then you got like the dog fight scenes, everybody coming in. It was fun, you know, but they destroy the Darksaber. Yeah, okay. I don't get that because you got merchandise, yeah, and you want to sell that. You're not going to sell a broken one. You want that Bo-Katan with the saber. That's your new merch, isn't it? You want to get that bit invested, get that selling again, repackage it because it wasn't selling that well, and do it again. But you just destroyed it. Don't get it. So, what are they going to do? If you look right down to the end, is when they're doing their little parade of, you know, this, you know, lighting the forges and all that. You got all the different Mandalorians. Now, the only thing they can do, and I'm guessing they're niche because they're not, well, they are expensive, is all the helmets. You know, are they going to now just run out of Black Series all the helmets and hopefully people are going to spend, you know, I'm guessing it's like $150, you know, like 120, £100 over here, some of them. Or they're just going to go and do vintage collection of all the Mandalorians and you can buy all the Mandalorians. But at the present, people aren't buying these. Yeah, they've completely bombed. So I don't get what merch are doing, because the only other thing they can do is with the adoption thing is now he's Din Grogu. So you sold merch, Baby Yoda merch. Then you sold merch, Grogu merch. Now you can do Din Grogu. So it's literally the same figure, because he hasn't really changed the look, except for you might get that little breastplate underneath. Ooh, what's that? And just repackage. So I don't get the merch side of this. I don't get what they were trying to do, because you introduced Grogu and then didn't give him anything significant to sell on to that. So it's just weird, because to be honest, you could have written this in such a way that Grogu was not needed, because it was pointless, except for the end. He was there, but you could have done something different, writing-wise, to not have him having to use a bit of force to stop the flames. Yeah, it's just a bit odd. And the Mesosaur at the end, coming into the waters and opening his eye. It's just, again, you see, it's little, ooh, is this going to be the next bit? Is this going to be lining up to the next season? But again, how it ended with them sitting on he's literally sitting on his porch, isn't he, with his feet up, kind of thing. It's like that. That's it. This doesn't need to happen at all. You know, it's just that if they said there's no more, it's kind of satisfying and unsatisfying, because they could just leave it. That's it. Done. No more. And I'm going to be in there is with what's going on. I'd rather see Bo's story than the Mando story at the moment. So are they going to repurpose it and do this, you know, the birth of Mandalore, you know, again? You know, I don't know. The only thing I would think, and this is going to be out there, and I would even say the people who simp for Grogu or simp for Disney, you know, the Disney defenders, would love this. Is actually, if you're going to do, you're stuck in this, everybody loves Mandalorians, let's do that. Why wouldn't you go back to their Civil War? Make it a teen, like a teen, late teens, let's go 18, you know, but not an 18 plus, but, you know, like 15, you know, show, and then give it that kind of medieval storytelling, not Game of Thrones kind of medieval, but that kind of nuance of these struggles of these different houses, because you've got that set up. So why wouldn't you lead into that? Or you could go, in way back and then have the Jedi against the Mandalorian. You've got all that. But this one, you're going to have, if they go Bo, I like the character, what are you actually doing? You're going to have this development of the rebuild and then them fighting the First Order? I just don't get it. Yeah, so this episode left you flat, because it left you, where's it going? Oh, it goes to there. And it stops. So anybody you like, anybody you love is dead, Mandalorian-wise, except for Grogu. Grogu is now set up. He's going to give the path of, not the Jedi. I don't get what he's going to be. Full sensitive Mandalorian. Yeah, and then he's going to grow up. And then, I don't know, take over the teachings with Rey? I don't know. That's it. And then he's going to wear this armor. Going to look a bit weird. Just going to put it out there. It looked like something, the labyrinth at the end of that. They all put their armor and they run after with the boulders chasing over them. That's what that could look like, unfortunately. Yeah, so disappointed. I wouldn't say so. I'm just unsatisfied. Yeah, because there was so many opportunities to make this story go bang and have, wow, this is what they're going to do, and they just fizzled out. And it's like, I say, the post ends bit with the Walters and the adoption, and then the IG coming back. Wow, well done. You got that plot point in, because now he can be the marshal. It's just weird. It's like, okay, Book of Boba Fett failed. Kenobi failed. This was working. Oh, the numbers are gone. And it's like they watched the numbers and then edited the end. And it wasn't supposed to be like this. It was supposed to go forward. But the numbers were that bad. They're like, cut it off. Cut off the series. We're not spending any more money on these. Because that's what it felt like. It just felt like it got to a point with that water scene. And that's how they're going to, let's just wrap it up. In a really terrible way. But there you go. And nobody can really moan because it ended with a family. And we're supposed to be family friendly, Disney. Yeah, so... Yeah, where's this show going? I don't think it is. But if it did, how would it go on? You're going to have, side quests now? Because there's no end game. Up to season 2, I don't know, you got the loot bit, but at least there was a purpose. He was trying to find a Jedi. This one, it led into let's restore Mandalore. But, the Empire and all that remnants and all that kind of didn't get in the way. And then the mind wipes and the, that section. There was too many episodes in this. What were why was that there? Why are we even going there? And then you get this output. And then you realise, they didn't really have an idea. It's just we need to wrap this up really quick, and then we've got our reboot. And I'm going to say their reboot because they've announced what they announced. Let's put that to the side. But if this is where they're going, we're done with this show, Ahsoka. Now, the Ahsoka show is going to have to be so far out of the area, let's say, is it doesn't affect anything else. And it's its own little story. Because if it affects everything else, nothing in the sequels will make sense. Yeah? Unless they do the worlds between the worlds. And they really do something, as much as I don't like the sequels, if they just do the time thing, the only way they could do it is something drastically changes. They do the actual heir to the Empire with Luke and all that, and then they destroy it, and it can never happen again. And that's Disney going, they're kind of, we made a mistake, we buggered up, we were losing money, and this is where we're going to go. Because whatever you think about Disney, the dollar is the answer. So if you can reduce budget and give not fan service, but what the fans kind of want, yeah, and you bring that unity back together, you make more money. And at the moment, people aren't buying, as I've said. So this show doesn't sell merch. It doesn't introduce anything that you go, ooh, because Grogu was a good standpoint, for that. Ooh, and you don't want to see that anymore. You want story. So yeah, Ahsoka, it seems like now, is that it? Your eggs are in one basket? Because I can't see where this is going or anything else. And if you go, I've got the Acolyte. Well, that's back in time. So you got to drive the story forward. You're driving it forward with the Rey movie. Okay. But that could be a one-off. If it fails, it fails. So you need the only into it, I suppose, push into it, is the Ahsoka show. And that's got to be banging. And that's got to lead everything. Get that connective tissue back in. Makes sense. If you're doing a Marvel, you've started it, finish it. Finish that pyramid to the sequels. But get a writers that can do it. Yeah, because Dave can't. Get some competent writers, because it's okay going, oh, look at that, people are going to love that bit. How did you get there? Damn it, forgot to do that. And that's what this finale felt like. It's just, yeah, a good. Now, if you go by the episode, you've never seen Star Wars before, you probably find this interesting. You find it a good thing. So you probably give it a good, it was just action-packed, there was no story, 7 out of 10. Yep. But then if you go back and actually know the whole season, it drops drastically. Now, if then you go to the galaxy as a whole and the timeline, it drops even more drastically. So it's a middle of the road bad poor for me. So I'm going to go, middle of the road is a 5 out of 10. So I would give this, it's hard. I would just give it, I'm going to give it a 4. If we could do 4.5. But if we go bang, it's not a 5 for me, it's a 4. Because the season building up to it is so bad. Yeah. And then you've got the previous 2 seasons. What kind of led you into a good galaxy of fun? And then we just got, plot points. Where did we get them from? I just put them down on a piece of paper and that is it. So, yeah, it's a shame. Everything was just too easy in this. Everything just was unintentionally wrapped up, it felt like. It's like we weren't wrapping it up. Now quickly wrap it up. It's a Christmas present and you didn't put a bow on it. And the tape is hanging off. And what you get inside wasn't exciting. But yeah, it's a shame. Because they could have led in to, season 4 is going to be epic. Can anybody tell me what's going to happen in season 4? Because Moff Gideon could come back. Anybody at Disney probably will do that. Because it's all they know. Repurpose. Oh, we got that baddie. People liked it. So they're clone. It's a clone. Oh, look. That's how. Well, if they do that, they could make that sense of like the cloning. Maybe Moff Gideon is like the first generation to get that kind of cloning for Palpatine came back. Then lead into it. Leading into it hard. Give me that punch in the face of that storyline. But you didn't. You just, there should have been that snippet of, was it Project Netramount or whatever it was called? Give me that kind of lead into that. Not lead into that's Moff's doing it and then somebody else is doing another side project that you don't see. And then you might read about it because they might read one of the books come out and, look. No, give me it hard now. But it didn't. So they didn't go towards the sequels, but then they made mistakes because it gives you plot holes. They didn't retcon anything because they did their announcements. So they went kind of away and then kind of just wrapped it up. Everything about this just ends in disaster for everyone. So I'm guessing the next hope is the Ahsoka show. If that doesn't, give that story that connects everything, that connective tissue, it's just going to be another weird show, isn't it? It's going to be like, you just put it there. You gave us a bit of fun. Now, I don't want the Ahsoka. I think that's got to be hard storytelling. has to be. Because if we're just going, oh, look, we saw Ahsoka, it doesn't make sense. Now, could they do an offshoot of this? If they finish with this, what could we do? Could they do Bo? They could, you know. Don't know what they would call it. But, yeah, it's a shame. It's this season will, if season 4, because it just how it ended, these numbers will drop. People who aren't hardcore will not want to watch this. Yeah, because where's it going? You know, oh, it was, yeah, that last, oh, is it, you know, might catch it in a couple of weeks. They're not going to catch it, premiere, boom, thing day, blah, blah, blah. You know, get them numbers up to like get Disney. Oh, people actually still like this. You know, let's do some more investment. Star Wars is still relevant. It's not. It's going to give this just a drop off of numbers that are going to lead into bad openings of other shows. The Ahsoka show, the Acolyte show. You know, if you don't give that excitement of what's happening next, and this doesn't, you don't have excitement for your other announcements. It's just business sense. It's not fan sense. It's just business. You get people dangling that carrot like they did with the last episode. And then people interested. But they just didn't do it at the end of this. They didn't give us that, woo, whoa, how's this going to lead into that? No, it just went, yeah. So it's weird as well. Like, why wouldn't you have an element for the Ahsoka show in this? To, if you're doing that kind of thing, to actually get people to go, need to watch that now. Wow, that makes sense that it leads into that. It doesn't. So yeah, it is what it is. I very much doubt we're gonna get a season 4. I would kind of, if I was a betting man, you would put a good 20 quid on it. That ain't happening. So we'll have to actually wait and see. But I don't think this looks good for this show. But like going forward, because I just don't see where it's going to go. Yeah, you can have fan theories, but you're making up your stuff like we do. And I say the weirdest fan stories of the like what's going to happen were 10 times better than this. You know, like mine about Horns Mall, everything like that. Yeah, it was out there, and I said it was out there, but it would make sense for Disney because it would bring back something. It would get people interested. You know, getting a connection with Ahsoka, a lot of people went that way. You know, it would get that connective tissue, and it would get people interested. You're going to get the merch then. But this didn't do any of that. It was just there. So, yeah. Fell flat. It just fizzled out for me. Yeah, I say it's just should have been wow, and it was wow. Oh, they did that. Oh, they did that. Yeah, and that's the problem. That is the problem with Disney at the moment. It seems like they might have writers that come up with some good ideas. Not in that writer's room. Not in that writer's room. And then they just get it altered by, I don't know, like, oh, we need to cut this down. We need to edit it. We need to wrap it up. Yeah, and then we're going to go to, like, the next stage. Well, you know, the next phase, as they call it in Marvel. And that's what this absolutely felt like. It felt like heavy executive producer said, okay, we need to end this because we've got some storylines coming. We don't know where they're going to go in the moment, but this has a major influence on that. So we kind of need to stop it. And then season 4, we're going to go forward with something brand new that moves everything forward the way we want. Will it? We'll wait and see. I think Disney has dropped the ball on this show because it was their golden ticket, let's say, to get, you know, the fans united back somehow. And it didn't do it. It just, season 1 and 2, yeah. Season 1, good. Season 2, good. This, poor. Yeah, so, yeah, throwing up my hands again because I'm just left in a bit of unsatisfied moment of Star Wars Disney madness once again. So, on that note, give us a comment. What did you think of this? Might have to do a breakdown for the whole season. But for that, poor for me. But let us know in your thoughts what you thought. Yeah. So leave a comment in the comments below and give us a like if you want to like. And as always, Stasis Geek out.